Welcome everybody to a brand new Blu-ray and DVD out and about video today. And this week sees the release of the comedic drama Irresistible hitting store shelves along with two 4K editions, one for The Goonies and the other for Beetlejuice. And not to be left out of the 4K game, Arrow Video is releasing a 4K edition of the 2000 sci-fi thriller Pitch Black. Plus much more. So let's go see the deals, exclusives, and we're at our first location, Walmart. So let's go in and see what they got. All right, everybody, we are in at Walmart, and the first and only thing I'm seeing over in this section is they have the DVD of Irresistible for $17.96. Now, I got a chance to watch this on Amazon Prime. Now, I was kind of hesitant to watch the movie, and not because I knew it was actually going to be a bad film or not, because, you know, you don't know that until you actually watch it, but the trailers didn't really do much for me. I mean, I like a lot of political comedies. A lot of them are really good. This one, to me, I don't know, I just wasn't really feeling it. And I especially wasn't feeling it when I started watching the movie, because they have all these clips of Hillary going against Trump and Trump going against Hillary and the political, you know, mudslinging, and I was like, oh God, I really don't want to go back to 2016, and I don't want to go back to just all of the craziness that happened. I really don't. And I was like, God, I really hope that this does not go where I think it's going to go, because if it does, I so don't want to watch this. And thankfully, it doesn't really go that way. Basically, it's about Steve Carell, who is this sort of top Democratic consultant, DNC guy, who sees an opportunity in Wisconsin after this sort of war veteran hero guy makes this impassionate speech, and he sees an opportunity to get this guy on a ballot in Wisconsin to sort of be the Democratic challenger. And basically it's his journey of spinning this guy into the political realm and trying to get this guy elected, and just kind of the hilarity that goes along with it, I guess, especially when one of his consultant opponents is there as well, and they kind of have this back and forth. Once the movie kind of settled down, it's not a bad film, actually. It's pretty decent. I think Carell does a really great job here. I think all the actors really do. I think everybody is really spot on here. Chris Cooper does a really great job here as well. Rose Byrne. I mean, everybody is rock solid here. The comedy is funny at times. Some of it doesn't land, and other times it actually is pretty successful. A lot of it is very much political comedy, so if you're not in that political realm, some of it might go over your head. Other things you'll definitely laugh with. It depends on how much knowledge you have of the political field. It's directed really well. It's a well-told story. There's some good satire there and some good humor. There is a really decent message at the end of the film, though, talking about being yourself and your ideals and who you are, and how the political realm is really, in a lot of ways, just a farce. Like, every 2 to 4 years, they come back in your town and they give you all these promises, and then they never deliver on any of the promises. And there's a lot of sort of back and forth about that. It's good messaging. I like where the movie's heart is at. Is it full-on entertaining? No, it's not a full-on entertaining movie, even though everybody does a great job and it's a well-told story. At times, the movie is a little dry, it's a little boring, and it does lose a little bit of interest and a little bit of focus over time. It's not the best political comedy that I've seen. There's definitely better ones out there. It's not a bad time waster. It's about an hour 45, 40-ish, around there. It's, like I said, it's It's got some good political humor, political satire, political messaging in there. It's done pretty well, but not the best I've ever seen, though. It's decent, I would say. Go into it with checked expectations, but if you like Carell, he's pretty decent in it, man. Not terrible, though. So they do have that over here, Just Irresistible. I don't see anything else, but hey, you never know if we don't go searching. So let's see if maybe we can find anything else. Ah, and we do see some more over in 4K Ultra HD. The future is clear, and I'm seeing they do have both of the 4Ks this week for Beetlejuice and the Goonies. $24.96, both of these ones. Oh, let's dive into each of these, man. Especially, oh, some Beetlejuice goodness. Look at that. Great cover for the 4K. Fantastic. Look at that. Awesome. Oh, so good. Man. Now, Beetlejuice is so good, man. I believe the movie came out in 1988, if I'm not mistaken, man. And it's so interesting because Beetlejuice, it wasn't the beginning of Michael Keaton's career, because he had done other stuff at that point. He had done films like Mr. Mom and a whole lot of other stuff that he had been a part of. But Beetlejuice was one of these movies that I think made him a household name. It was the first time he ever worked with Tim Burton. Of course, that relationship would go on to include the Batman sequels, of course, and many other movies that he made with Burton. And it's just a really great, fun horror comedy that I think you can show any kid. I mean, this movie was one of those films that my mother and father taped on VHS. I watched it at a young age. Yes, there were certain things that I freaked out when I was a kid. Certain things like the sandworm. And at times, Beetlejuice can be pretty devious, man. And I love the undead designs in the movie. Some of those are really fantastic, man. Some really great stuff there. It made for a really fun movie that you could laugh at when you're a kid. You're a little scared, but it's all in good fun, man. Michael Keaton owns the Beetlejuice role. Really amazing. He's fantastic in here with the makeup. He plays up the Beetlejuice character so much. And I was a fan of Beetlejuice back in the day, man, with the Beetlejuice cartoons and everything like that. Especially this movie, became really in love with the character. And it really started my love with Michael Keaton. He's fantastic here. The movie is really fun. Everybody does a fantastic job. And it's actually also, in some weird way, it's also a really great love letter to goth fans out there. Like, a lot of goth lovers, I would imagine, really love this flick, because, like, Lydia is totally goth, man. In actually a really great way. I never got into goth. It was never my thing with, like, the painted fingernails and all the black and stuff, but I can see why. There's an appeal there, man. It's kind of cool at times, but I mean, this was also one of those movies that I think started to make goth popular as well, unless I'm really mistaken, but this was the first time I ever really experienced it. There's a lot of really great things going for this movie. I mean, crazy to think 88, and it's still loved to this day. Really fantastic movie. I'm sure the 4K looks amazing, though. I would hope it does. Oh, that's great, man. They do have that. They also have the 4K of Goonies. Oh, and look at that cover. So good. With the ship and them looking at the map. So cool. Oh, man. Yeah, this is a fantastic movie. I believe this one was 85, if I'm not mistaken, man. 85. God damn. Good Lord, man. So good. God, what can I say about the Goonies that hasn't already been said 1,000,001 times by many, many other people, man? It's a great adventure film. It's a great comedy. It's a great kids film. there's so much in this film wrapped into one, and it all works, man. From the adventure aspect, of finding the pirate ship, to the friendship that these people have, to the comedy. Even the kids are lovable and likable, and you get to know them and care for them, and everybody is well rounded and has good roles. It all works, man. And Goonies is one of those real exceptions, because I don't think nowadays you can make a movie like The Goonies and actually make it as well rounded and as fun and adventurous and as pleasing as this one really is, man. I mean, it had so much going for it. It's a Richard Donner film. Steven Spielberg produces this goddamn thing, and the cast is amazing here. I mean, man, Corey Feldman and Sean Astin, Josh Brolin. Man, so many people, dude. I mean, great. I mean, even the bad guys in here, the Fratellis, are fantastic. I mean, everybody's awesome here. I mean, so many quotable lines. I mean, hey, you guys. Like, quotable lines like that. Goonies never say die. I mean, this is another one that my mother and father taped on VHS. I watched this when I was a young kid, and it got me into that really great adventurous spirit, and it almost like makes you want to go out and find buried treasure and go find your own, like, pirate ship with One-Eyed Willie on it and all the gold riches. And man, this is honestly one of the best kids adventure films of all time. I don't think any of you would deny that. This is so amazing. I love this movie to death, and if they do it right, the 4K is going to look gorgeous on here. Fantastic, man. This is an amazing film. If you guys have never watched The Goonies, please do it. It's great for kids, it's great for adults. I think it's just a great crowd-pleasing film for everybody, to be honest with you. This movie does not leave any demographic out. You will definitely love this film. So fun, man. This film is really great. Beetlejuice is really great too. Those are definitely two 4Ks that if you don't have these films yet, definitely have to snatch these up, man. These are well worth it, man. So fantastic, dude. Those are great. Glad we saw these here. On top of seeing Irresistible, glad to see that also. And it kind of looks over here as well, kind of looks like they're cleaning up a little bit. And we may see some future indie releases over here, hopefully. That's what I'm hoping for in the future. About time, man, on that one. But not bad this week. I definitely was not expecting the 4Ks, but glad I was proven wrong on that one. Not half bad, guys. All right. Let's head out. So, there is actually a few releases we're checking out this week, guys. But I didn't think we'd see any of the stuff here at this Walmart, especially the 4K releases. This Walmart doesn't exactly inspire a lot of confidence, if you know what I mean. So I thought, okay, maybe we're going to see one, maybe two things, but certainly not the 4K releases that are pretty much the most popular thing that's going to come out this week for sure, man. But yeah, I was surprised, man. I'm glad we saw it here. But then again, when the 4K of Jaws came out, we saw it here, and then we didn't see it at the other Walmart. So sometimes this Walmart does surprise me. I gotta remember that. I can't always count this Walmart out, because at times they have come through and shown us some really great releases when I thought that we would get crap here. But hey, that's why you do the Omnibus. You never know what you're gonna find, guys. But not bad. I mean, it's not a big release week, but there's just enough good stuff coming out this week. New releases, some 4K editions. Definitely worth going out and checking out some of the stuff this week. Some interesting things worth giving a look to for sure, man. Not half bad here. More than I expected there was going to be. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's head to the next location and see what we can find. All right, everybody. We are at our second location, Target. But before we go in, I wanted to talk about something with you guys. Now, as I've told you before many times, I always go on and look at different articles for physical media, what's sort of the happenings that are going on week to week. And I saw this article, and I was kind of curious about what you guys thought about it. So the article reads, Disney leaves the physical media market in Latin America. And what it says is, as of November 2020, there will no longer be a company officially licensed to do the marketing and distribution of Disney's physical media in the territory. Cinecolor, who have the official license and rights of distribution for physical media for Disney in Latin America, should be ending its distribution for Disney by the end of October. Mexico, Colombia, Argentina, Chile, Peru, and Brazil begin to say goodbye to their DVDs and Blu-ray products abruptly and without the prospect of one day returning to the Latin America market. There is no indication that another company will be taking over the activities performed by Cinecolor today. On the contrary, with the arrival of Disney Plus digital platform on November 17th in Brazil seems to have had a big impact for this decision to be taken. Mickey's company seeks to force everyone to subscribe to its digital platform service and only consume its products through the online business model. A similar decision has already been reported in the United States involving Blu-ray 4K, but unfortunately for us in Latin America, the attitude will be much more severe, leaving us with no choice. The decision has a big impact and is overwhelming for the collectors community. Indeed it is. Okay, so I know what you guys are probably going to say to me. You're probably going to say, well, Seth, that's Latin America. It's not the United States. We don't have to worry about it. Au contraire, my good friends. We have everything to worry about. Because you look at Latin America and they're getting rid of it. They're saying goodbye to it. Now, of course, you're also saying to yourself, well, that's only Disney. There's lots of other studios. There's lots of other companies out there that do physical media. You're right. However, Disney is a huge share of the entertainment market. Huge share. With everything that they produce and come out month in and month out. On top of that, now that they have acquired all the 20th Century Fox titles, they now have all of that entertainment snatched up as well. So they have a lot of the movie market wrapped up. If you really think about it, they honestly do. And Disney saying that they are leaving the physical media market and only doing the online streaming says a lot, because this is just the beginning. And in fact, if you really think about it, this is a test ground. If you really, Latin America is a test ground to see if this is successful. And if it is, you can bet your bottom dollar that they will do this in North America. You can guarantee it. You know, it was so interesting because I talked about that article about, you know, them stopping 4Ks for all the older titles and how the communities just went nuts and bananas, and they had to come out with a statement and say, well, no, not exactly. It's just certain movies that we're going to put on the platform and we're going to evaluate it on a case-by-case basis and all of that jazz. And they got a lot of pushback from that. But again, this is all a testing ground, man. I'm telling you, physical media, as you guys know, has always been under attack, man, for a long, long time. And I think in some ways we've gained a lot of ground during this pandemic. A lot of people looking at a lot of these movies and TV series that are getting censored and seeing physical media as a way to sort of counter that, which I think is a good thing. But unfortunately, as I said before, that physical media is not for everybody based on price. Because people are looking for a good deal and a good bargain. If you don't price it well enough, people are not going to come out and want to buy it. And Disney products are really high in price. A lot of them are. Let's be real, man. And when they can just go to a consumer and say, oh, by the way, you really don't need that DVD of so-and-so a film because you have Disney Plus. And it's all going to be there anyways, right at your fingertips, right at the remote. You don't need the DVD or Blu-ray. You don't need the 4K. Bull. That's what they want to tell you. That's what they want you to believe. because we know that streaming has its difficulties. We know that streaming has its limitations. We know that certain things on the Disney platforms are leaving due to rights issues and may not come back for a long time. And also, look, they're not putting enough new content on there to make it worth it month in and month out. Yeah, Mandalorian is there when that comes out, season 2. Yeah, fine. Re-up and get Disney Plus again for another month or so. Fine, whatever. But is it worth it in the long term when you can just have something and buy it and it's yours and you have it and you don't have to deal with a subscription service month in and month out that you may not watch enough to make it worth it? I'm telling you guys that Latin America is just the beginning. This is the start of Disney ending their physical media ties. It's going to go away. I don't care whether it's a year from now. I don't care whether it's 5 years from now. I don't care whether it's 10 years from now. Disney is going to cut ties. I guarantee it, guys. They're going to do it. Latin America, as I said, is just the beginning. And this is all a testing ground to force consumers to get the streaming service, and that's it. That's where the buck stops. You're either going to get the streaming service or you're going to get nothing at all. And this is why I like physical media, because it gives you that extra option that they don't want to give you. They want you to just subscribe to these subscription services for the streaming and just call it a day. But we know better. But I just wish that more of the population would understand that, and they just don't. And I wish they would, man. Sometimes it's frustrating, but you got to continue to get the word out there. You really honestly do. I hope you guys understand. Definitely let me know what you think of this. In the meantime, well, I was surprised we saw a little bit more at Walmart than we did, those 4Ks. I think we're going to see an okay amount over at Target. Well, at least I hope. I mean, the only way to find out is to actually go in, so let's give it a look. All right, everybody, we are in at Target, and the first thing I'm seeing over here is they have the Blu-ray DVD digital of Irresistible for $24.99. Now, I wanted to sort of talk a little bit about Steve Carell, because I don't know whether you guys have noticed or not, but early in his career when he was really becoming big and famous, he was making a lot of these goofy comedies. Bruce Almighty, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Anchorman, some of the stuff on The Office. And he was sort of known as sort of the goofy comedy guy in a lot of ways. And slowly but surely, he's actually been shifting and been doing more serious work, more dramatic stuff with sort of light comedy mixed in. I'm thinking of things like Welcome to Marwin and Vice, Little Miss Sunshine, stuff like that. And I'm kind of curious what you guys think of that sort of trajectory that he's went on, because he's not the only one that's ever done this. I mean, I've noticed like the shift that Bill Murray has made throughout the years of going a little bit more drama. Robin Williams did the same thing. I noticed Will Ferrell has kind of done it from time to time as well. And I kind of feel like most actors, yes, if they're really good comedians and do comedy well, a lot of them really want a challenge. And they really want something that will challenge them as an actor and not do the same thing over and over again. And you kind of have to change how you are and change yourself throughout this business. And that's kind of what I've noticed over the years. Is you just have to change. And some of the actors that haven't changed, you see people like Mike Myers or Dana Carvey, and they've done great films and films that'll still last, well past my prime. They're not really working anymore. They're not really doing much anymore. And I think the reason why is because they never really challenged themselves as an actor. They never really took that next step and really did something dramatic and really went that extra mile. I mean, even somebody like David Spade and all those other people who who were fun comedic people, but never took that extra step to really go out of their comfort zone and give something else a try. And I think Steve Carell is trying to do that because he's trying to extend his career. Because as much as I love comedies, as much as I love these comedic guys, the problem is essentially is that you can only do that for so long until your career gets sort of tired, and you have to do something different in order to give people a reason to want to continue to hire you. It's not just about being a name, it's about what can you do as an actor. And I think that's where Steve Carell is coming from. It's interesting. I sort of see that different jump in his career, and I kind of wanted to know what you guys thought about that. He's not the only one to do it. He definitely won't be the last. Has he been successful in it, though? Definitely let me know what you guys think of that one, man. Then over here I'm seeing they have the Blu-ray digital of Rogue for $17.99 with Megan Fox when the hunter becomes the prey. Absolutely. Look at that. Nice cover. Not bad, man. From the director of Silent Hill Revelation. Yeesh. Not a good movie, man. So I wasn't expecting much when I watched this on Amazon Prime, especially from the director of that piece of shit. So I was like, oh man, what am I in for here? Now, the movie is actually really interesting. It's basically about these mercenaries who are leading a squad doing this sort of mission of rescuing hostages, and they have to try to get out of Africa. Not only try to actually like avoid the rebels and getting killed by them, but also trying to avoid getting killed by ravenous lions, and just the mega complications that goes into trying to survive all that, plus keeping the hostages safe. Yeah, good luck. So, like I said, watching this on Amazon Prime, I was not thinking this was going to be any good. And you want to know what? I was really pleasantly surprised, man. I was really pleasantly surprised by Rogue. I honestly was, dude. It's actually a really gritty movie. The action is really great here. I like the mercenaries. I like the squad. Like, some of them are really funny. Others are battle hardened. They're very quippy. They've got good dialogue between one another. I like the story of trying to survive and be hunted, but also not try to kill the lions, but trying to survive them as well, and just basically surviving the elements of Africa. I got to admit, this was kind of a conundrum for me, because I thought, okay, Megan Fox does not, like, when you look at Megan Fox, it doesn't ring out like, wow, she's this badass mercenary bitch, right? Like, that is the last thing you ever think of with Megan Fox. But she really pulled it off, man. I thought she was really sort of tough as nails, battle hardened, somebody who felt like she had been through the ringer so many times, and she's just fed up with this shit. Like, I thought she did a really great job, man. And, like, if you were to, like, 10 or 15 years ago when she was making those Transformers movies and she was walking around and running with all the skimpy clothing, if you would have told me that years later I was going to watch her as a battle-hardened mercenary on the run from rebels, and it was going to be convincing, I would have told you to, like, get out of my fucking face. Like, I would have told you, like, get out of here, man. That's bullshit. But she did a really great job here, man. And it works. It works because she makes it work. And I think all the actors make it work. And yeah, there is some things in here that are not that great. Like, the CGI on the lions are kind of at times a little cringeworthy, and you realize they didn't have the budget for it, and they're not quite convinced that they pulled it off successfully. But honestly, for the most part, I'm surprised. I was ready to hate on this movie. I was ready to walk in and be like, this is going to be a shit show, and Megan Fox is going to try to pretend to be all tough and badass, and She pulled it off, man. I'm surprised. This one was a surprise for me, man. If you like sort of, rescue hostages, on the run, mercenary type of flicks, man, give Rogue a chance. I was really surprised by this, and it really was pleasant to me. I had a fun time watching this, man. It's a pretty good flick. Surprisingly so. Just goes to show you that when you give something a chance, it might just actually surprise you. The jungle can eat you alive. Damn right. Especially with those lions, I wouldn't stand a fucking chance in hell, man. That's for damn sure. But surprisingly, Megan Fox did. She did it damn well, too. God, I'm so surprised, man. Really good on that one. Definitely give that one a look. Especially from the director of Silent Hill Revelation. Like, I thought, yeah, that's definitely not going to be good. So surprised, man. Damn. Not bad. A couple of releases. Let's see if we can find anything else. And then we are over in the new TV releases, and the only thing I'm seeing that definitely came out this week is the complete third season of Young Sheldon for $19.99 on DVD. Kid's a little too smart for his own good. Oh boy. Now, I got to admit, and I think I've told you guys many, many times, I've only ever watched a few episodes, maybe a handful of The Big Bang Theory. It's never been a show that I've actually really wanted to dive into because a lot of people said it started out really good and then after a while it kind of went downhill and it was no longer really about the geek culture. It was about just making fun of the geek culture, and I was like, I don't know if I really like that or not. So I kind of stayed away from it. But then, I mean, the show got so successful and made so much money that I guess why not do a spin-off? So they ended up doing it for Young Sheldon. And I've never watched a single episode of Young Sheldon. I mean, basically it's just a prequel, sort of his younger life and the comedy of it. Okay, I mean, it never really interested me. Is this really that good of a show? Is Young Sheldon really even worth it? I'm kind of curious whether it is, though, guys. I mean, I also kind of wonder how many seasons are they actually going to do of this show until he sort of gets old enough where they're like, hey, wait a minute. He doesn't look like Jim Parsons. Get out of here. Like, I sort of wonder what they're going to do with that eventually, right? I mean, how many seasons are they actually going to go with this, man? And do prequel TV shows really work? I guess is my question, because you already really know where the character is going. You already know what the outcome is, so does it really surprise you? Is it really worth it, or is it fun to find out what he did at a young age? I just find no interest in this, but I know it's really popular and people really love it. I don't know whether it's worth it for me to get into, especially if I've only seen like a small handful of episodes. Is it worth it to dive into? I mean, definitely let me know what you guys think of Young Sheldon. I mean, like I said, I've heard good things. Haven't heard many bad things, but again, it's probably like Big Bang Theory light. Like, very, very light. So, I guess it depends on what kind of comedy you're into. Good, bad. Definitely let me know if it's a worthy successor to The Big Bang Theory. Kind of doubt it for many people, but curious to know your thoughts, guys. Interesting. Well, not half bad. A few releases worth talking about. Interesting stuff indeed. All right. Let's head out. Oh, color me surprised, guys. Color me surprised indeed. Okay, so it's not like huge abundance of physical media here, but we did see things that we didn't see over at the first Walmart, and that ain't half bad, guys. I mean, seeing Rogue, seeing Young Sheldon Season 3, we didn't see those over at Walmart, so that's a pleasant surprise. However, they didn't have the 4Ks of Beetlejuice and the Goonies, which for Target is kind of odd, but for the most part, Target is not really in the 4K game. Like, they don't have like a section that's only 4K. I mean, they have a bunch of like 4K stuff for like Star Wars and everything, but like, that's Star Wars. Of course they're gonna have it, man. The same thing with Marvel. Like, they're gonna have a whole crap load of Marvel because it's Marvel. Like, they don't go out of their way to have just a whole area of just 4Ks. But that being said, man, I mean, there was a little bit more that came out this week than for a couple weeks, so I knew that that would at least have something interesting to show over at Target. And it's kind of interesting seeing one store have some of the releases, like the 4Ks, and then having something like Target have some of the interesting TV stuff and some of the indie stuff, but none of the 4Ks. I guess sometimes we get some stuff and sometimes we get other stuff, but it's never actually the best of both worlds. Of course. And it's still some interesting stuff to check out and definitely a different vibe than Walmart for sure, man. Hope you guys enjoyed it, some of the different stuff this time around. Let's head to the next location and see what we can find. All right, everybody. We are at our third location, the second Walmart. We're going to go in and check out if there's any cool, interesting indie flicks we're checking out. But before we do that, I had to talk about this, man. So last week, I talked about the Justice League trailer. Great trailer, really enjoyed it. However, when they did that DC fandom event, they showed off a few trailers, and the one that got the most reaction from everybody is The Batman. Yes, the Batman trailer finally got released, and people were going bananas over it, and I had to watch it. I had to give it a look. Had to check it out. And, man, people are really going wild over this one. And, mind you guys, look, the movie isn't going to come out until next fall. So we've got an entire year, man. So buckle up. There's going to be more trailers. But people are really excited about it. And it's kind of weird because I've noticed that every few years or so, we're always recycling Batman again, man. It keeps on just the turnover rate. Crazy. I mean, we had Adam West, and we had the Keaton era, Kilmer, Clooney. Well, yeah, Clooney almost ruined the whole damn thing. I mean, yeah, that. You had Christian Bale, Batfleck. So you've had a lot of those, and now it's Robert Pattinson's turn. I have to admit, I like the trailer. I like the imagery. I like very dark, very gritty. I like where they're going with it, especially seeing the brief glimpses of the Riddler. Very brooding, very sort of dark and twisted. And it kind of reminds me, it kind of feels like they're going in the sort of dark and gritty take where they went with the Joker back in The Dark Knight. So it kind of feels like that's the vibe where they're going with that. But, I mean, not only is the Riddler going to be dark and gritty, but so is Batman himself, Robert Pattinson. And, my God, man, the fan base is going crazy over Pattinson in this trailer, man. And I guess I get it, right? I mean, the big machismo, Batman fans, the hardcore fans, they're like, yeah, Pattinson, man, he's our guy now. But, Pattinson's always been a solid actor, man. I mean, outside of the Twilight stuff, he's been a really great actor. He's done some really good dramatic work, so it's not like the first thing he's ever done that's just dramatic. I think it's just because it's Batman that people really love it. But it's interesting because I've talked to, a fair amount of people since the trailer has come out, and I've kind of gotten, some of the people I've talked to are really excited about Pattinson. Really excited. They think it's going to be phenomenal. Great job. And then there's another part of the people that I've talked to that are very hesitant about Pattinson. They're just not sure about him, man. I mean, a lot of them didn't like the "I am vengeance" line in the trailer, and they've kind of noticed, and I've noticed this as well, that it seems like Robert Pattinson is not really speaking a lot in the trailer. Like, they're keeping that to a really, really low minimum, man. So I don't know how he's going to be as far as, like, speaking wise. But even with the action scenes, which the action scenes in the trailer look really cool with him beating the shit out of people, is it really him? Is it a stunt double? You know, is he going to be doing most of the fights? We're not quite sure yet about any of that stuff. I mean, it's going to be a dark and gritty take on Batman. That's not a bad thing. I'm just kind of curious of how Pattinson is going to pull it off or whatnot. And even when I'm seeing him as Bruce Wayne, I'm noticing I'm getting a real like emo Bruce vibe from it, like with the hair and everything. Like I'm getting that kind of vibe. I'll be curious to see where it goes. I mean, mind you, I do have confidence in this because of Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves is a phenomenal director. Cloverfield, the Planet of the Apes movies. I mean, he's phenomenal. He does a great job. He knows how to tell a really solid story, utilize the actors to the best of their ability. And mind you, there's a lot of really great actors here. Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, Colin Farrell, Robert Pattinson, of course. So many others, man. I mean, they've got a good cast here. It seems like they're going with Batman Year 2. So they're starting with him really young, which I think helps for further stories. I think there's a lot that I'm really excited for with this. At the same time, look, I'm nervous because just because it's dark and gritty doesn't mean that it's going to instantly be successful or that it's instantly going to be a good movie. You could still screw this up. You really honestly could, man. So I'm just hesitant, and I'm curious of how it's all going to come out, man. I mean, DC so far has a really spotty record, so we'll see where this all goes, guys. But I'm very curious to see what you guys think about this. Batman's back yet again. But I'm curious about what you guys are going to think about this trailer. I really honestly am. Like I said, I'm excited. I think the trailer is going to be really cool. But look, we've got a whole entire year, man. There's a lot of more stuff that's coming down the pike with Batman. More peeks into the movie. And mind you, they're still filming the movie, guys. I mean, they had to stop because of COVID. And they've just picked up filming again and started to back up production. So it's going to be a while. Like I said, I have good vibes, but at the same time, I'm a little nervous too. A lot of things can go wrong, and a lot of things can be successful. You just don't know until you actually are there watching the movie, but all signs point to good possibilities. I'm definitely interested to hear what you guys have to say about this. But in the meantime, let's head into the third location and see what the second Walmart has in store for us. All right, everybody, we're in at the second Walmart, and holy shit, man. Like, they have no new releases this week. It's bone-ass empty, man. Look at this. Holy shit. Whoa. Damn, dude. What about over here? I mean, I'm seeing all the older releases, but nothing new. Fantasy Island, you just left, Watchmen, The Hunt. Nothing, man. Even over in the indie title section, like, no new releases. The same old stuff that we saw like a couple weeks ago or last week. Nothing. All the same stuff. I know there was some indie titles that came out this week, so wow, man. Like the same Scream Factory stuff that we've seen before. Even coming over into the 4K section, like, they have Jaws, but where's Goonies? Where's Beetlejuice? Like, what the hell? Like, they have nothing. Nothing new whatsoever. I mean, they have all the older stuff all the way down, the old titles, and they have, you know, some DVD stuff here on the other end, obviously, which is really cool. But what about Irresistible? What about the new 4Ks this week? The Megan Fox title? Young Sheldon? What? I mean, come on, they have nothing. Like, holy shit, like, I don't think I've seen it like this ever. Like, with just nothing to show off. They didn't get any of the new titles whatsoever, man. Wow, I am kind of blown away, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, when the first Walmart has more titles, you know there's a problem. If you guys have watched the videos long enough, you know that I've been coming to this Walmart for quite a while. And I'm always finding something at this Walmart. I mean, something, whether it's weird and unique indie titles, maybe it's something that we didn't see at the first Walmart that we're seeing here. Something. I mean, this is like the first time that I've ever seen it like this. So you're telling me that the first Walmart that barely usually has anything to show off, they have more titles than this. They had the 4K of Goonies. They had the 4K of Beetlejuice. They had Irresistible. I mean, they had something. I don't know whether their truck was late or whether the employees just didn't give a shit and not fill it. I mean, I just don't know what to say, man. I mean, usually there's something here, but I mean, there's still a lot to check out. I mean, there's still a lot of really cool titles here. I mean, a lot of the older stuff, obviously, but I'm looking for some of the newer stuff, some of the more interesting titles. I got nothing, man. This is like a total like Twilight Zone reversal. Like, I feel like Rod Serling is gonna come in the back of me and gonna be like, and this is the Twilight Zone, and I'm like, doo 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 doo. I'm like, ah! Oh my god, man, so crazy and weird, so odd, man. Usually this is the better of the two Walmarts, but not this time around. This goes to show you that you never really know what you're gonna find until you really go into the stores and actually check for yourself. Wow, man. Well, who would have thunk it? Hell, I wouldn't have. Well, glad we saw some at the first Walmart at least. Well, let's keep this train rolling. Hopefully we'll see a hell of a lot more physical media than we saw here. All right, everybody. We're at our fourth and final stop. I think it's time to get into a little beast mode, don't you think? Yeah, I think you know where we are, guys. Yes, we are none other than the Beast. Best Buy, baby. So, you know, we've seen some interesting things at some of the stores. Some stores not much, but hey, that's how the out and about goes. Are we going to be saving the best for last when we go into the Beast? Let's hope, guys. I'm looking for some exclusives, maybe some 4Ks, a few surprises here and there. You never know with the Beast. So let's head into Best Buy and see what we can find. All right, everybody. We are in at Best Buy, and the first thing I'm seeing is they have the Blu-ray, DVD, and digital of Irresistible for $22.99. And as it says on the front right here, written and directed by Jon Stewart. And it's kind of no surprise that Jon Stewart actually directed this movie because of his affiliation with The Daily Show and him being as much of a political commentator as he has been over the years. But it's kind of interesting, Jon Stewart's career, because he started out as sort of this low-key comedian that sort of came up with a lot of other, you know, comedians that we know and love. Some people found him through there, but I found him through other things. Like, I found him through certain movies like Half-Baked, where he got stoned out of his fucking mind, which is that's a great movie, man. And then The Faculty. Yeah, he played one of the evil teachers, man. So good, dude. So fantastic, man. He did a great job in The Faculty. If you've never seen that, definitely do it. But I think he became a household name through The Daily Show, and he became adored and loved by so many people. And I can understand why. I can see it, man. I really honestly do. You know, because he was able to tell you the news, the political news, and yet joke around about it in a way that sort of took the piss out of both political parties. He was able to do it masterfully, man. And, you know, now, of course, stepping down from The Daily Show and doing his own thing, he's decided to direct and sort of put more of his energy into telling these political stuff through film. And I don't know if he's completely successful. I mean, the movie has some good messaging about the idea of, look, every 4 years or so, you know, we always get these promises and people lying and then coming back and saying, well, I did this, but I couldn't do that because this party didn't let me do it. And then all the money in politics is ruining things and changing people's images, and there's a lot of great message there for the film to mine. But I think it kind of gets drowned out a little bit because it's hard to connect with some of these people. Steve Carell is hard to connect with him because he's a political insider, and in some ways it's hard to relate to him. Maybe that was the point of the movie, but you still don't relate to him at the end. The same with Rose Byrne. To me, the movie sort of loses its focus at times, and the messaging at times, gets lost. And also it got lost because, quite frankly, this movie was supposed to come to theaters, and because of the coronavirus, it got delayed, and then they eventually put it on streaming, and so it got lost in the shuffle. It wasn't able to get its messaging out the way it wanted to, and it's a real shame. I mean, there is some really good political movies out there. I mean, I really love a movie like The American President with Michael Douglas, which is really great. One of my favorites, actually, is Primary Colors with John Travolta. I think he does an amazing job in that movie. I think that movie's really fun, really great political film, man. So there is some political films out there that are really well done and can really tell a really good story. And I think Jon Stewart is definitely trying with this movie, but I think he didn't quite get it right, man. The problem is that trying to sort of give a political message that everybody can agree on nowadays is really tough, man. Honestly, it is. I'm not gonna lie, man. I mean, we are in such divided times. For people to agree on anything is a fucking miracle, dude. I mean, honestly. And so this is really tough. And I think Jon Stewart I appreciate the effort of him trying to get the word out there on this movie and trying to give a message to people about politics. But I think he was able to do it much better on The Daily Show and give his message to a much more wider ranging audience than doing it through a movie. I mean, he's got the talent, he's got the heart, and I hope that even though this movie isn't really all that successful at times, it still has good moments. And I think, this is only his second directorial effort, so he's got a lot of time to still master this and still be good at his craft. I think he can do better, and I think this is the first step for him. I mean, I love Jon Stewart. He's a funny guy, and I also want to say that he's done a lot for 9/11 responders, firefighters, police officers, first responders. He's done a lot for them on Capitol Hill. He's given them a voice when sometimes they didn't have one. So he's definitely been in the political realm for a long time, and he's somebody who's very passionate. And I hope that he doesn't stop. I hope that he continues showing his message, whether it's through stand-up or movies, whatever. I think he's got a lot to say, man. The movie isn't entirely successful, but I think that if he hones his craft, I think he can make something that's really, really fantastic. But this one kind of falls a little bit short, though. And then I'm seeing over here they have the Blu-ray digital of Rogue for $14.99 with badass Megan Fox. Yeah. Crazy enough, guys. Well, really weird to say that, man. Like I said, one of the aspects that I thought really worked for this, and as I said, mercenaries on the run with hostages, you've seen that movie before, but I thought with the lions and them actually having to survive them and the lions attacking them and brutalizing the shit out of them, man, they really take a huge chunk out of some of these motherfuckers in this film. I thought that was an interesting aspect to add on to it. And, there's always been some interesting sort of movies about nature and ferocious lions and them attacking. But, I was thinking about one movie that I don't know whether you guys really know about. It's a movie called Roar from 1981. If you guys have ever heard about this one, that movie is incredibly fascinating. It stars Tippi Hedren, Melanie Griffith, basically the whole family that they had was in that movie. And basically, it's supposed to be this sort of wholesome movie about getting along with lions and tigers and nature, but it's almost like a horror movie, because it's actually all of what you see in that movie is all real. There is no CGI there. Like, anytime lions are attacking tigers, or anytime that the lions are like starting to maul some of the humans, like, that's all real. And it is absolutely terrifying watching that movie, knowing that it was all real. In fact, Melanie Griffith actually, I think, like, her face got like really scarred up by some lion or tiger, like just mauling at her face. I think one of the crew members, I think like Jan de Bont or something, who directed Speed and all that, I think he got scalped by one of the lions or something, and he survived. Like, that's nuts, man. And that's a true story of a movie. That's all real. That's a nutty movie, guys. If you have ever seen that flick, man, definitely do it. That is one crazy ass film, man. And it's not a horror movie at all. Like, it's trying to be like, oh, we can cohabitate with these creatures. It's like, no, man, they're fucking vicious. Fuck that. Like, so, I mean, when I see a movie like this, I'm like, oh my God, man, run. Man, these things want you for dinner. And then dessert. And then they'll save some for breakfast in the morning. Screw that, dude. Like, so I thought that was an interesting aspect to the movie. Yes, most of it is CGI. But I gotta admit, I could still feel the viciousness, and I could still feel the danger, and I thought they did a really good job with that, man. I thought that aspect was really cool, man. And the fact that Megan Fox even pulled this out of her ass is shocking to me, dude. Like I said, the movie is a real surprise for me, because I was not expecting much, man. I mean, like I said earlier, Silent Hill Revelation is not like a revelation of cinema. It's a revelation of shit. Okay, it's not good. So I looked at Rogue and I'm like, this is really bad, man. It's got some interesting things to say about lions, about society, and it's a thrilling story, man. Survive or be killed. It's not a bad movie, man. And to see Megan Fox actually pulling off a badass, kick-ass chick surprised the living shit out of me, man. So this one is definitely a surprise, but a worthy one for sure, man. Not half bad on this one. And not bad special features, man. You get 2 commentaries, cast interviews. Man, that's actually better than some movies get, man. That's really cool here. And I forgot to actually show you guys the Blu-ray DVD digital special features for Irresistible, and that's actually got quite a bit too. Extended scenes, deleted, interviews, featurettes. Not bad on that one either. Actually pretty decent. 2 movies with decent special features. Not bad. Then I'm seeing they have the Blu-ray of Z for $12.99. Very interesting. Z wants to play. Ooh, look at that. His beady eyes. That kid is so screwed, man. Oh boy. From the creators of Stillborn. Okay, interesting. What is this about? When Beth's son brings home an imaginary friend named Z, that he is willing to even do it. Ooh, and he wants to be her friend. Oh shit. Oh my God. I'm sorry, the kid's not just screwed, the whole family's screwed. The hell am I talking about? Oh my God, man. I like the cover to that. That's really nice, man. You know what? I gotta admit, I've seen now a few Shudder originals. Some are good and some are a little on the not very interesting side, I would say. I give Shudder a lot of credit for doing original movies, because the horror genre is sort of dominated by the big players in the games. You know, the Conjurings and the Insidiouses and all these big franchises at times, and sometimes it takes sort of a small little indie horror flick to really break out into the open and really remind people that original horror still exists out there. It's not just horror remakes, and it's not just horror sequels. It can be truly original and creative stuff. So I do give Shudder a lot of credit. I haven't watched everything through Shudder, and I definitely have to give them more of a shot. But this doesn't look half bad, man. Sort of a kid's imagination gone all sorts of wrong, man. Very interesting. Interesting one. Not bad. Got that. They also have over here the Blu-ray of the complete series of 12 Monkeys for $44.99. I'm noticing they have this here. Change the past, save the future. Very nice. Not bad. I like that cover. Very cool, man. Future is history. Now, I really love that original 12 Monkeys movie, that Terry Gilliam film with Bruce Willis and Brad Pitt. So good, man. Some really great sci-fi there. And I remember when 12 Monkeys was hitting the Sci-Fi Channel, and I was actually really interested in it. I thought it was kind of unique. I was interested how they were going to take the 12 Monkeys movie and sort of spin it into a TV series. I mean, I could see the potential to it, but I never got around to actually watching it. And I haven't heard much about 12 Monkeys. Is it good? Is it bad? Did it kind of fall by the wayside and kind of suck? I mean, how is it? Because actually, it's really interesting and fascinating sci-fi about this guy that goes back into the past to stop this sort of spread of a plague, and tries to stop it so it doesn't affect his time that he's coming back from in the future, and all the complications, and who do you trust, and who knows about you, and all the mind games. Very fascinating stuff, man. And the manipulation, really interesting. And I always thought it would be very interesting to continue the story. So a series sounds really cool to me, but I don't know. Sci-fi, man, with the sci-fi shows, some sci-fi shows are really good and some are very chintzy and cheapo. So I'm not sure about 12 Monkeys. It always fascinated me, but I never got around to actually watching any of it. Is it good? Bad? Definitely let me know, guys. Interesting on that one. Then over here I'm seeing they have the Blu-ray of Open 24 Hours. We saw the DVD a couple weeks ago over at the second Walmart. They do have the Blu-ray here, not bad for that price. Then they also have another Shudder original Blu-ray of Blood Quantum for $12.99. Not bad on that one. When the Dead Rise, only the immune survive. Nice. Badass cover. Now, I actually got a chance to watch this on Amazon Prime, and I was really interested in it because I had heard a lot of good things from people. People were really talking about the movie. The trailer looked kind of badass, so I was like, what the hell? I'm going to give it a chance, man. And basically, it's about these group of survivors from a zombie apocalypse who are trying to live their lives, trying to make the best of the situation they're dealing with, trying to find other people that are like them, and also trying to kill as many of these undead fucks as possible, man. But at the same time, they're not safe because there's some complications that end up happening. Let's just say that, guys. And they have to try to fight their way out of a very bad situation and survive the hells of Blood Quantum. So, I've told you guys many, many times before, I really love zombie films. I think zombie films are really great, but I also think that the genre is kind of a little tired right now. I really do. I think the genre is very tired, and I think that there's not many films that really break through and really pop as much as they should anymore. I think we've been sort of desensitized by all of the Walking Dead stuff, and I feel like it's kind of drowned the zombie genre down a lot. I really honestly have, man. But I will honestly admit, man, that Blood Quantum was pretty darn good. It's very dark, very gritty. I like the characters. I love the zombie effects in here. The zombies look really fucked up. It's not cheap whatsoever. The zombies look really cool. The designs are awesome. I love the weaponry. I love the zombie action. I think all of it is honestly really, really cool, man. I think all of it is really well done. And it really reminds me a lot of something like, well, it had a lot of shades of Day of the Dead, but it also has a lot of shades of Land of the Dead. Like a city and a bunch of survivors that are trying to sort of live their lives, and these sort of rebellious people that are trying to ruin it. Like it really reminded me of that. Definitely took a lot of influence from George Romero, took a lot of influence from Land of the Dead. It was very interesting to me, man. I thought it was really well done. Is it the best zombie movie that I've seen recently? No, I would give that to something like Train to Busan, which I thought was really fantastic, but this honestly surprised me. You know, I always say that there's not really much good for the zombie genre much anymore, but there's certain movies that really do sort of shine a light on how good the zombie genre can be still, and Blood Quantum is not half bad. Like I said, it has its dark and grittiness. It's not a fun movie. It's kind of depressing in a lot of ways. Again, takes in a lot of influence from George Romero, but I thought it was really well done, man. And I thought, you know, if you're kind of tired of the zombie genre or looking for something new within it, something interesting to dive into, Blood Quantum is good, man. Give Blood Quantum a chance. I think you guys will be really surprised. I wasn't expecting much, but you know, it really delivered, man. Pretty darn good. And then over here, which really shocks the living shit out of me, guys, they actually have the Arrow Video edition of Flash Gordon for $19.99. My God, I thought I would never see this in any of the stores. Holy shit. Wow. That shocks the hell out of me, man. Now, I mean, a while back we saw that Flash Gordon Steelbook, which looked really good, but this is like the full-on Arrow Video spectacular. Arrow, guys, does some of the best editions of movies. They go out of their way with the unique artwork, with the special features, you know, great picture quality, sound quality. They really go out of their way to give the movie the best edition possible, and it looks like with Flash Gordon they've done exactly that, man. Now, this actually comes in regular Blu-ray form and also 4K form as well. This one is the 4K edition, and I would imagine the 4K must look gorgeous on Flash Gordon with all the colors and the space stuff. It's got to look absolutely pristine, man. And I'm noticing that a lot of these companies are starting to go 4K. You know, Shout Factory is starting it. Arrow has. You know, I think you'll see Criterion getting into the game, I believe. You're starting to slowly see it more and more and more. Is it worth it for them to get into the 4K game or not? I think for certain older films, I think 4K is really good. And at other times, I think it doesn't really help the film out so much. If they do a good job with the cleanup, if they do a good job with the quality, then it's going to look phenomenal. Flash Gordon has the potential to look really fantastic, but the fact that it's here and for $19.99 blows my fucking mind away, man. I never thought I'd see this in any. So it was like seeing Screen Factory editions at Walmart and seeing Arrow stuff here. Like, man, what is going on with the world? Hope it continues, man. Wow, that's really cool. And even though they don't have it, I'm noticing that there's actually a slot here for the pitch black 4K edition as well. God, I wish they had that, man. That's really cool. So they don't have that, but fuck, it's really nice that they actually are supplying it. Hopefully I see that one sometime soon. Not bad. And that they also have 2 more 4K editions that came out this week. Sherlock Holmes and Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows, $24.99. Very nice. Look at these editions. These are getting the 4K format. Not bad. Look at that. Nice cover, actually. Ooh, I like that. 4K's editions. Very nice, man. I got to admit, man, that these Sherlock Holmes movies are fantastic. I love these. I think Downey God, I think Downey's great as Sherlock, man. It's such a different Sherlock than you're used to. It's not the old dude with the pipe. It's the Victorian time. It's not that. It's much different, much more action and adventure oriented. But I think it really works. And Downey brings a great sense of style to this role. He does a great job. Jude Law does a really amazing job as well as his sort of sidekick counterpart. I think it really works, man. Directed by Guy Ritchie. I love the action here. I love the humor. I love sort of the weird get-ups that Sherlock Holmes wears to sort of have a disguise. It's really fun, man. It has its gritty moments, but they're just trying to have an adventure, man. And it really works, dude. This first movie, I think a lot of people were sort of skeptical about it because they were like, well, wait a minute. Him as Sherlock Holmes, especially coming off Iron Man, but damn, does this one work, dude. And the picture quality's gotta look good on 4K. And I have to admit, the sequel as well is also really fun, man. It's a really fun sequel. It's not as good as the first Sherlock Holmes. I'll freely admit that, man. But I really love the cat and mouse game he has with Moriarty. I think that is fantastic. I love Downey here. Jude Law is great. The comedy still works here. Again, directed by Guy Ritchie. I think this is fantastic, man. The new additions here. And I thought that Jared Harris did a fantastic job as Moriarty, man. Really cunning and clever and always one step ahead. I always like those movies, man, where you never know what's going to happen, or just when you think you know what's going to happen, they have this sort of twist. And I think this movie really does that, dude. I thought it was really clever and well done. I really did. And now I know they're actually supposed to do a sequel, like a Sherlock Holmes 3. I am really looking forward to that, dude. I kind of wish they would have done it earlier because I really want that, man. I think Downey and Law plays a really great combo together. I've been wanting a third film like you wouldn't believe, man. I don't know whether Guy Ritchie is coming back, but God, I wish he does, because he does a great job with this, man. And he really knows how to play up the slow motion and sort of Sherlock Holmes' thoughts while the slow motion is going on, sort of a what-if scenario. Like, really cool stuff that he was able to do with both of these films, man. I hope he comes back for future installments, but if you have never checked out these Sherlock Holmes movies, like I said, they're not the traditional Holmes stuff that you're used to. They're a little bit different, but very adventurous and really well done, man. Really like these ones a lot, man. They're fantastic. And it doesn't really say much about special features, but I'm assuming that most of the stuff that was on the Blu-ray is probably on the 4K as well. Got that there. And the only other thing I'm seeing is they have the Ultraman complete series plus digital for $14.99 on Blu-ray, which I've never seen this one to save my life. There is so much stuff about Ultraman, dude. I've seen so many Blu-rays here at Best Buy about Ultraman, and I know shit all about this dude. I mean, there's been movies made about it. There's been old school TV series. Like, it seems like Ultraman is a whole entire franchise in and of itself, man. I mean, cool. Hey, if anybody is interested in it, I mean, $14.99 for a complete series on Blu-ray ain't half bad. I just never heard of it. Seems interesting to me, man. But if you guys have ever heard of Ultraman or Neo Ultra Q, I love the neon and everything. It looks really cool, actually. Not half bad. If you guys know about that, definitely let me know. Not half bad this week. Actually, a lot more than I was expecting. Of course, we don't have the 4Ks of the Goonies and Beetlejuice. What the hell is up with that? But enough, really, to still keep me satisfied. A lot more than I was expecting this week from Best Buy. Not half bad for the beast. All right. Let's head out. I'm really surprised this week, guys. Like, I am seriously surprised. Because yes, it is a little bit better of a week than what we're normally used to, but I have to be really honest, man. I was not expecting much from Best Buy. I mean, mind you, I was really hoping we were going to see those 4Ks of Beetlejuice and the Goonies, and I was hoping maybe we would see some sort of an exclusive here at Best Buy, but we kind of missed out on that. But I was still surprised by a lot of stuff that we saw. Certain titles that I definitely was not expecting to check out this week. A little bit of an exclusive at the same time. Sherlock Holmes in 4K. So, more than makes up for it, for sure, man. But, like I said, I was shocked because I'm like thinking, oh, well, we only saw a couple releases here, a couple releases there. Not a lot, but it just goes to show you that sometimes we really do save the best for last. Not half bad, man. Actually, really, really shocked by this one, man. Really good to have some really cool releases. And like I said, Best Buy is still sort of recovering from the whole coronavirus thing, still trying to get a lot of their stock back that they lost because of this whole pandemic. But you know what? At times when I see stock like this and the great release that they have, it reminds me of the Best Buy that I know and love, and that's always a good thing. Not half bad, man. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's head home and finish the video. All right, everybody. That'll do it for the Blu-ray and DVD out and about video this week. And is physical media maybe getting a little bit better as we're heading into the fall? I'd like to think it is. I mean, mind you, look, guys, it's still a gamble going out to these stores, man. I mean, I think the second Walmart pretty much proved that, man. But then again, you have, like, nothing to show off at the second Walmart, and then you have a lot of stuff to really show off at the Best Buy, man. So, is it completely consistent? No, it's not. But I have to admit, man, that there is a lot of TV stuff coming out right now. There's a lot of interesting titles that are finally hitting from streaming on to physical. And you have to remember that we're heading towards the fall, which means we're heading towards sales. And everybody loves the sales. So I think good times are ahead. I honestly do. Yes, are we going to have the week where, yeah, we ain't going to see a lot of stuff? Of course we are. But I think that things are getting better. They are. Slowly but surely, they are getting better, and I'm very thankful for that. So, sometimes there's going to be inconsistent weeks. Sometimes we're going to see a lot at one store and not a lot at another. But I think, overall, I think that there's a lot of good things that are coming. There's a lot of really great releases that are coming out. So, whether you're a fan of 4K or regular Blu-ray or DVD, I think there is stuff to look forward to. And I think as a fan of movies, I think we want something to look forward to. We want that extra thing to really excite us. And, you know, sales coming down the pike and, you know, cool updates with all these 4K releases. I think there is things to celebrate as a physical media lover. So don't fret. Things are not getting totally bad. There is some good things to be happy about if you're a physical media lover like I am. Put it that way, guys. But this week did have some cool, interesting titles overall, as I definitely showed off. Hope you guys picked up something good. If you did, definitely let me know. If you got some past releases, definitely let me know about those as well. I mean, hey, if you're not picking up some of the newer stuff, maybe you're cranking out that wallet for some of the older stuff that you've been waiting to pick up. Definitely let me know, guys. As far as I'm concerned, the first pickups for September. Oh, wow. Where do I start? Well, the first package I got in the mail is actually from Severin Films, man. So, a couple weeks back, I showed you guys that I had my huge Severin package. And a lot of titles in there. But I told you that I was actually missing one title. There was one title that I was missing that was going to be shipped out later than the rest of them. And it was kind of a bummer, but I totally understood. But thankfully, it actually got to me a little bit sooner than I expected. And so Very nice to finally get this to finish off the massive Severin pickups. However, this one is going to be pushed back to the September releases. But that being said, very excited for another Fulci title. Yes, another Fulci title. The Fulci train keeps on going and going. But this is one that is actually not a film by Fulci, but a film about Fulci. Very interesting, guys. I cannot wait to dive into this one. I also ended up getting a package in the mail from Diabolic DVD, and this title is actually an MVD release that came out last month. Now, it's one that I was very curious about. It's this weird sort of sci-fi horror video game mashup. Very weird, man. But I decided, before ordering it, I was actually gonna watch it, and I did. I watched it through YouTube, and I fell in love with it, man. I thought it was pretty cool. I liked the characters. I thought it was really fun, and I was like, okay, man, I'm gonna pick this up, and it kind of surprised me. It's not really an older title. It's actually one of the newer titles that MVD has really been putting out. But I had a fun time with this, man. I'm not really a video game dude too much, but this really kind of made me long for the days of playing video games, and yeah, it's not half bad, dude. I really enjoyed this one. A video game adventure horror mashup. Who knew? But it's actually really fun, man. And last but certainly not least, I picked up a title from Amazon Prime. And this is actually a Warner Archive Collection release. And it's actually a 90s film starring John Travolta. This is a movie that I saw in the movie theaters with my mother. We had a blast watching this, and this was like, at that point, like prime Travolta for that time in the 90s. Like, he had done Pulp Fiction and then Phenomenon and all these other titles, and add this title to the mix of that really great window of time in the 90s, in the middle of the 90s, where John Travolta was like king and did some really great stuff, man. And this is a great heavenly movie by far, man. So I cannot wait to dive into this again. Oh, it's been so long, man. So this title, Diabolic, and the last of the Severin goodness for the first pickups of September, guys. And I have been tracking what I'm going to get, and it is going to be really good, man. September is going to be awesome. I had some really great pickups for the summer, and the fall is just going to keep on rolling, man. 2020 has been fantastic, and it's going to be rare titles. It's going to be new releases. It's going to be limited collector editions, out of print, and so much more. You guys are gonna love it, so definitely stay tuned to that video. And I do want to apologize to you guys. I know that last week was supposed to be the July pickup video, and there was so much things going on in my world, some unexpected things with family, my girlfriend's birthday, and I was like, finding time was a little bit difficult. So I apologize. I truly apologize, guys. This weekend, I promise, you will be getting the July pickup video. It's a little late, I know, but better late than never. So it will be coming out, I promise you guys. That is going to happen. And maybe a live stream if you guys are up for it. I mean, definitely let me know if you guys would be interested in that. I'll definitely do that if you guys are up for it. But generally speaking, everything is finally coming together a little bit. I've been a little bit busy, a little bit crazy busy, but things are finally settling down, thank God. So you will get some pretty cool stuff this weekend, I promise. And before I let you guys go, I really want to say a few words about Chadwick Boseman, man. I really do. Oh man, God, I can't believe we lost him, man. Chadwick Boseman died this past weekend, and I was hanging out with the guys. We were shooting the shed, watching movies, and after they left, I was relaxing, and I turned on Facebook on my phone and saw a lot of stories about Chadwick Boseman dead. And I thought, this has to be fake. This can't be true. I mean, there's a lot of false reports out there. But the more and more I was going through Facebook and the more stories that I was constantly seeing, they can't all be wrong, can they? And it was true. He died, man. I mean, at 43, and let's be real, 43 is young. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it really is. And in that time, he has been such an influencer in the movies that he's been a part of for so many people. I remember when I first saw him in a movie called The Express. He had a small role playing Floyd Little. And I could see that this guy has potential for something. Little did I know how much he would really do and how much he would really affect people's lives in a great way. I mean, whether it's playing Jackie Brown in 42, whether it's playing James Brown in Get On Up. So fantastic, man. He was so great in Get On Up. And whether it was the recent stuff like 21 Bridges or the Netflix film To Five Bloods, he always gave a solid performance, rock solid. He was always good at his craft, man. But it wasn't until he played T'Challa in Black Panther that everything opened up for him, man. And he influenced so many really young kids who could see themselves as this superhero. And he inspired people. And he made people want to be better. And he was, from all accounts, an incredibly kind soul and somebody who didn't want to bother people with his problems, and he just wanted to just be a good person in his world. I mean, he was battling cancer, and from all accounts, nobody really knew it outside of his close-knit personal family and friends. That's it. He didn't bother co-workers with it. There's so many accounts of people who've worked with him who have said, I never knew he had it. He never once mentioned it to me. Why? Because he didn't want to burden people with his problems. He just wanted to try to do his work and do his job and just be a kind-hearted soul. It wasn't about him. It was about the work that he was doing and making movies that were memorable for people and giving people enjoyment. And now he's gone. And what do you tell all of those little kids who looked up to him? What do you tell, the people that, my God, our king is gone. Like, he's not coming back. And that is so hard, man. And this death hit me like a bag of bricks because it reminds me of all the people that have left us. That left us way too soon. I mean, just for an example, people like Heath Ledger and River Phoenix, and a lot of these people who had so much potential and so much life that they still needed to live, and it was so cut short. And that's what it is for somebody like him, who had such really had so much life left in him, and it was cut so short. And to me, guys, this one hits hard, man. And I know people are starting to talk about, well, what about Black Panther 2 and what about all this stuff? Look, we can discuss that at another time. We can have those discussions, for another day. None of that matters. What matters is another kind-hearted, good soul has left this world. And it is so terrible, man. And the one thing that Chadwick leaves behind is all of these fantastic movies that he made for people. They're not going to go away anytime soon, guys. They're not going to leave us. All of these great, wonderful films, they're going to be on our shelves. They're going to be in our thoughts. We're going to watch them. These great, wonderful movies that hold memories in our heads. These good times that we've had. He gave us those. And I'm not going to forget it anytime soon. And I know you guys are not going to forget it anytime soon. I'm going to watch Black Panther and I'm going to remember him. Remember what a wonderful actor, what a good soul, what a kind heart he was. And that he gave it his all in every performance he did. Because he wanted it to be the best it can possibly be. He didn't care about himself, he cared about others. And that's a legacy worth living. I'm going to remember his movies. I'm going to remember 42, and I'm going to remember Get On Up, and I'm going to remember Black Panther. I'm going to remember Da 5 Bloods, and anything that he's done that hasn't come out yet. I'm going to remember those. And his sacrifices for cinema. Losing anybody is tough. Young, old, it doesn't matter. But when it hits you like a bag of bricks, when you're not expecting it, that is tough, man. That's really tough. And anybody who's feeling sad about this, I wish I could just give you a huge hug and say it's going to be okay, man. But no loss is easy. And the most that we can say is that we can remember him through the films that he made and remember his legacy. Because it's going to be a good one. And as long as we remember him, as long as we keep these movies in our hearts and our minds, they will never be forgotten. His contributions will never be forgotten. Just remember that. We hold the key to remembering him forever. And I think we will never lose that. So I am devastated by this, guys. I am devastated truly by this. Such a wonderful, wonderful person from all accounts. And he is going to be incredibly, incredibly missed. But I am not going to forget him. And I know that you guys aren't going to forget him either. I just had to say some words, guys. I did, because I know that this has hurt so many people in so many communities. Young kids, older adults. It doesn't matter, man. He affected us in so many great ways. And we are truly never going to forget him. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. God, you are going to be so greatly missed, man. But you left behind some really great films. And we're going to cherish them. We honestly are, man. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give it the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Check out the other Blu-ray and DVD Tuesday videos I've done. Check out the Blu-ray hunting videos, movie hunting, I should say. Check out the Blu-ray pickups, theatrical movie reviews I do with my friends, the live streams I've done, plus much, much more. If you're a fan of movies and physical media, hit subscribe and become a part of the Film Fan Nation. I want to thank you guys so much. You guys go out of your way to watch these videos, to subscribe, to support me, to give me great feedback and comments, and you give the love to me, and I hope I give the love right back to you guys. I do, so thank you so much. So if you like how I talk about movies and physical media, definitely hit subscribe, and keep up to date with everything I'm doing through Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. FilmFan108. keep up to date with everything I'm doing, plus special pictures and videos I do from time to time on social media as well. Alright guys, I will see you back next week for a brand new Blu-ray and DVD Tuesday video. Take care everybody, and take care and be good to one another.